There are moments in our lives when God will say no. This is unpleasant to hear, but it's the reality. In this life, the God who loves you will have to say no to some of your requests. I have seen people standing by the bedside of their sick relatives, praying over their health. But as soon as they say amen, the person breathes this last. God saying no. I've seen that happen. I've seen it happen. Someone praying that God may give him a year or so to put his things in order while working at that place. But God can say no. To the very things that you really want, God can say no. I've seen people praying, fasting, that they may become academics, high achievers, but it just doesn't happen. There are moments when God says no. God is able to do these things. He can fix things for you. He can give you a job. He can make your marriage work. He can, all these things, he can bring you back to good health. But there are moments when God says no. And those moments are dangerous to the safety of your spirituality. People have left the church because at some point in their life, God said no. And they made a shipwreck of their faith. This is unpleasant to hear, I know, but you need to know that the moments when God says no to what you really want, you need to remember that it's a no from a loving Father. Did someone hear me? It's a no from a loving Father. You need to remember that this God who is saying no to you gave you Jesus as a gift in the first place. And if he gave you Jesus as a gift, then he cannot deny you the good of this earth if it is good for you. He won't. But there are things that we ask for from God that are harmful to our spirituality. And God says no. And this is the moment where you must pray the prayer that Jesus made. Let not my will, but thine be done. This is it's a very delicate issue. There is a war that rages within your heart, especially when your will is going against God's and you know it. Huh? You know for sure that my business has taken a nose-diving direction. Your will is to resuscitate it, but God's will is that you don't give a bribe. Right there is a war in your heart. But it is at this moment when the person who is not a nominal Christian must go down on their knees and say, let not my will, but thine be done. This is the moment where you must sing, have thine own way, O Lord. Have thine own way. I am the clay and you are the potter. In your head, that's where the shape of what I must be is. Not in me, the clay, but it's in the mind of the potter. So the clay cannot tell the potter what he must do with his clay. Have thine own way, O Lord. This is the moment where we must sing, for I know whatever befalls me. Jesus doeth all things well. Walking in the valley of death, but trusting God, for there is a path to walk on. There are moments in life when God says no. So the hope that for 40 years had lighted up the darkness of the desert wanderings had been denied. The wilderness grave was the goal of those years of toil and hard-burdening care for Moses. Moses is dying, having not achieved the goal that obsessed him. He was so obsessed about taking the children of Israel into the promised land, him presiding over the dividing of the land. God, you will stay here. Naphtali, you're going to stay there. Judah, your place is there. But he died just after seeing the land, but not tasting it. So when God says no, it is grace in action. I said, when God says no, it's grace in action. You know, when this curtain is removed and Jesus is standing on your side and you are asking him, but why is it I was 30 and the young man who approached him, he had to be the one. God, I was 30. And then God will open the curtain and show you the pit that you were just about to fall in. You will say, God, you are wiser. You will thank God for the decisions that he made that you were not happy with. Trust God, and God will take care of you.